Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Breakfast with Brian. Just a recap on why we are doing this. You may recall, if you've watched earlier editions, that I've made a practice for years to read some verses from the Bible when I'm having breakfast and digest both spiritual and physical food at the same time. And while I'm doing that, I'll always say to God, what do you want me to see in this? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to understand in this passage? So the passage I read a couple of days ago was in the Acts of the Apostles, and it was concerning Paul's conversion, Saul's conversion. And I said to the Lord, what do you want to show me in this? And what's going to happen now? We'll just follow through with that. So I read down through about how Paul approached Damascus and so on, and how Jesus came to him in a flash of light, and he was thrown off his horse, fell to the ground, and God said to him, go into the city and it will be shown you what you shall do. And so he went in. Now, at that time, unknown to Saul, God spoke to a man called Ananias, a Christian in Damascus, and he told him to go to a certain house to see Saul. But Ananias was scared. I'll just take up where it talks about this. But the Lord, Ananias answered, I've heard many reports about this man and all the harm he has done to your saints in Jerusalem, and he has come here with authority from the chief priest to arrest all who call on your name. But the Lord said to Ananias, go, this man is my chosen instrument to carry my name before the Gentiles and their kings and before the people of Israel. And I will show him how much he must suffer for my name. Then Ananias went to the house and entered it. Placing his hands on Saul, he said, Brother Saul. And that's where God started to speak to me. Brother Saul. Here was Ananias, who looked on Saul as opposition, as somebody to be feared, somebody to be avoided. But God spoke to him. And as a result, his whole attitude towards Saul changed. And when he went to him, he called him brother. What a transformation. What a change, suddenly. Now, I find that when God speaks to us, things happen suddenly. We can read and read and read all we like, but until we know it is God speaking to us, there is not sudden change. Sure, we can put his word into practice and do the things that he requires of us there, but his word to us suddenly changes everything. Just want you to stop and think about that. I had to do that at that point. And I thought, how do I see other people? Well, some years ago, about 5 years ago, I was saying to the Lord, if you live in me, not if, but you do live in me. I said, if you live in me, then what does that mean for me practically? I want to know more about that. And for some months, I had nothing come, and then suddenly I had a picture in my mind of a church service in which there were people worshipping God. Some, especially the ones at the front, had their hands raised. Others were dancing around. Others were moving in some way or showing some sign of involvement. But there were many who were just standing there, some with arms folded. No expression on the face. And God pointed out to me, you see those people, you think they're not involved. They came here today because they want me. They want to know me more, but they don't know how to go about it. But I love them, and I want you to see everybody who comes to church service just like that. And from that moment onwards, my whole attitude towards people changed. Sure, I love people. I thought I was tolerant and accepted people. So I went not long after that to a church nearby for a celebration that one of my family members was involved in. And I was just thinking my usual thoughts, judgmental thoughts. We have them, don't we? And I was thinking, they're not very involved, are they? And then I was reminded of what God had told me. These people belong to me. They have come here to worship me. They have come here because I love them and they're searching for me. See them in that way. So it was a sudden change that took place when I had that word from God. And my suggestion, my hope is for all of us that whenever we read the word, particularly, we say, Lord, open my eyes to see what you want me to see. Help me to understand so I can be changed more like Jesus. So God bless you this morning, and goodbye from Breakfast with Brian.